So for those of you who are asking for an installation video of the side gauge pod, it's pretty simple. Like I said, there's no cutting or anything like that that you're going to need to do. So you are going to take either a pick or a small flathead screwdriver in order to come on to this side. There'll be 4 retaining clips that will pull this whole thing out. Now, I don't have my original vents here anymore, but when you do, it'll all come out in one piece. So when you flip this over, you will have your vents similar to what's on here. Let me put this down real quick so I can show you a little bit better. So these are what your original vents are going to look like right here. So they will pop out on this side with just a little bit of pressure, which will push it out. Hold on, it's hard to do this one-handed. It'll push it out like that. And you may have to go to each one individually and pop them out there. Once you do, this whole piece will slide out. So this is the actual wall that's retaining this into place and keeping everything together. So, give me one second here. Let me pull it all off for you. So what you're going to have is my piece right here like this. You're going to have your vent like that. And then you're going to have this retaining piece. This retaining piece right here is going to be the one that actually goes into place and holds everything together. But if you look back over here, you still have the issue of these vents being here. So these are really simple. You can grab either a pair of needle nose pliers, or you can just pull really easily on the top here, and this will all come off as one piece. So it's going to be very similar to the one that you saw right here, but it's these pieces right here. So that's going to all pull out. So you're not going to use that anymore because that's where your actual gauge is going to sit. So it'll be open like this. Okay, so let me see if... All right, so now that we have the vent opened up completely, we're going to have this. This is what's left of your actual vent cover, and this is where the gauge pot's going to go itself. So you have this little retention clip over here, and these holes is what aligns each one of the blades for your actual vent itself that's normally there. So these holes is what's going to keep this gauge pod in place. So the gauge pod is going to have a small little bump on the top of it, and that's how you know where the top is. And what you do is you're going to take this piece with the curved part, if you can see, at the top, and you're going to place each one of these nubs into each aligning hole above it. So there'll be 5 total, and the 6th one won't have a nub in it. It'll just be the first 5. So that leaves you with a piece like this. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you are going to take the top one of the fins that you had from the original fin set, and you're going to place that in this hole as well. That gives you your top fin, which gives you a much better look, in my opinion, instead of a big hole in the top of it. So then with your vent gauge like this, you're going to flip it over to where it's like this, and everything will just line right into place there. So you may have to like push it in a little bit. This top piece right here, I'm sorry, it's hard to do with one hand pointed backwards. So it's going to be placed in there like that, and your top fin will pop into place right here. I don't know if you guys are able to see that. And then the rest of them will just push into place. So once you have it like that, there is your actual cover itself. Next we go to the installation of the gauge itself. So the gauge is sitting in there right now. As you can see, there's a big gap. So you're going to have to put a little bit of pressure because it is a pretty tight fit. But nothing's going to break. It's not going to cause any issues or anything like that. Just push it all the way in. So then you've got your gauge sitting flush right there. So that's how the gauge will look inside of there. So now we're going to move on to actually putting it in place. Give me one second here. So now we're going to put this gauge in place. So here's your gauge here. Now you can run your wires however you'd like. Sorry about the dust. Mine's a little bit dirty right now. What I was going to do and what I'm planning on doing is running my wires down through here and coming up through here. Since I'm not going to be using this actual closer anymore, I'm just going to run my wires right through up here so it has nice and clean. I don't have to cut anything. I don't have to mess with anything. And that's what I recommend for anybody else. So then you're going to have the plug for, if I can get it, give me one second here, your light. So this plug is the one that allows you to dim your dash lights and everything like that. So let me see if I can work here. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to use one hand for all this. All right, so then we're going to plug this in here. With that plugged in, and make sure that this is aligned, and it'll slide right in place. So then you're going to have to pop in the 4 clips, and you'll hear them pop in, and bam, you've got a beautiful gauge sitting right next to your gauge rod. So all this is still functioning. You won't be able to direct which way the air comes out or anything like that, but it still function as a vent, and you have your gauge pod in there as well. If you have any other questions, please let me know.